The story begins with a slow zoom toward the inner part of our solar system. Beyond Earth's blue glow, two planets wait in silence, Venus and Mercury. Both look calm from a distance, almost gentle, floating near the sun. But the truth is far more intense. The narrator explains. These are the planets closest to the sun, places where heat becomes fire and day becomes danger. As the camera passes Earth, the temperature begins to rise. Space becomes brighter, and sunlight becomes sharper. The narrator describes how every spacecraft that travels toward Venus or Mercury must fight powerful solar radiation. Even metal grows weak near the sun. This part of the solar system is called the inner solar system. It contains 4 rocky planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. But among them, Mercury and Venus are the most extreme. The journey first highlights Venus. From far away, Venus looks beautiful, a bright golden ball covered in thick clouds. For centuries, people believed Venus might be like Earth, maybe full of oceans, forests, and life. Even early scientists called Venus Earth's twin. But as the narrator says, beauty is only the surface. Under these clouds hides a world of fire. Then the camera moves toward Mercury. Mercury is much smaller, a dark, rocky world full of craters. It looks like the moon, but it is far stranger. It is the closest planet to the sun, so sunlight hits Mercury with incredible force. The narrator describes Mercury as a world so hot that metal melts, and so cold at night that everything freezes. The scene shifts to a map of the solar system, showing the orbits of Venus and Mercury. The narrator explains, to reach these planets, spacecraft must cross a dangerous zone. They must slow down, turn, and twist their paths to resist the sun's gravity. Then comes an interesting fact for the viewer. Traveling to Mercury is harder than traveling to Pluto. Because going close to the sun is like going down a steep hill. You must fight gravity all the way. Images of past missions flash on screen. Mariner, Messenger, Venera. These were the brave robotic explorers that dared to visit the hottest and closest worlds to the sun. The narrator ends part 1 with a powerful line. Humans have always wondered what lies inside the furnace of our solar system. And now, the journey begins. The music rises as the camera prepares to move closer to Mercury in the next part. As the journey continues, the spacecraft moves closer to the smallest and most mysterious planet near the sun, Mercury. It appears like a gray, burnt stone floating in a river of fire. But the narrator reminds the viewer, Mercury is not just hot, it is a world of extremes. The camera dives toward the surface. Suddenly, the viewer sees a land full of deep craters, long cracks, and endless plains of rocks. It looks like someone hammered the planet again and again for billions of years. A strange fact appears on the screen. Mercury has almost no atmosphere. Without air, there is no sound, no wind, no protection. If a person stood on Mercury, they would hear nothing, not even their own heartbeat. It is a world trapped in complete silence. The narrator continues. On Mercury, the sun looks 3 times bigger than it does from Earth. The camera shows a huge blazing sun rising above Mercury's rocky horizon. The sunlight is so strong that shadows become sharp black lines. The heat becomes unbearable. Medium white star, the day that burns, the night that freezes. Mercury rotates very slowly. A single day on Mercury is longer than its entire year. This creates incredible temperature changes. Day, 430 degrees Celsius, enough to melt metal. Night, minus 180 degrees Celsius, colder than Antarctica. The narrator says, Mercury is the only planet where you can freeze and burn in the same day. Hamza, the viewer's imagined point of view, pictures himself stepping carefully on the ground, his footprint glowing from the heat. Medium white star, surprising discovery, ice on Mercury. Then comes a surprising twist. Deep inside Mercury's darkest craters, places where sunlight never reaches, scientists found water ice. The narrator explains, even near the sun's furnace, shadows can protect frozen water. The camera shows icy patches hidden in deep black pits, untouched for millions of years. Medium white star Mercury is shrinking. Another shocking discovery follows. Mercury is slowly shrinking. Cracks appear on the planet's surface like dried mud. Scientists believe the planet is cooling from inside, causing its crust to wrinkle and collapse. The narrator whispers, Mercury is getting smaller every million years, just like an old apple drying in the sun. Medium white star, a world with no escape. The part ends with a haunting scene. The planet glowing under the fierce sun, locked forever in its dangerous orbit. The narrator says, Mercury is the closest gate to the sun, a world where silence rules, and survival is impossible. The spacecraft now turns toward the next destination, Venus, Earth deceptive twin. The spacecraft now leaves Mercury behind, a silent world burned by the sun, and moves toward a glowing object shining like a morning star. From far away, Venus looks peaceful. Soft golden light covers its surface. Thick clouds swirl gently around it. But the narrator warns, beauty in space can be dangerous, and Venus is the most dangerous beauty of all. Medium white star, the deceptive twin. Venus is almost the same size as Earth. Same shape, same gravity, same rocky structure. For centuries, scientists believed Venus could be Earth's sister, a place with oceans, rain, clouds, forests, and life. The narrator says, Hum samajte taiku Venus paz in dajihogi. Lekin jab hameni uska asli cheradeka. To hamine korfeni gerlia. Medium white star, the clouds of poison. The camera approaches Venus's thick clouds. They look soft, but they are made of sulfuric acid, a chemical strong enough to melt skin, metal, and machines. These clouds trap sunlight, creating a deadly heat prison. Temperature on Venus, 460 degrees Celsius. Hotter than Mercury, even though Venus is farther from the sun. The narrator explains, Venus pi barishki terabaz saktihai, lekin nature pohanchni sapil sab kucha waban jatahai. Medium white star, the crushing pressure. As the spacecraft drops toward the surface, pressure rises rapidly. The pressure on Venus is so strong that it can crush a submarine. It is equal to the weight of being 900 meters underwater on Earth. The narrator says, Ega koizinda shizyan aa, towo sakandin mine kuchul jayaji. Medium white star, the Venera sacrifice. The documentary shows black and white images from Russia's Venera missions, the only spacecraft that survived the landing. They lasted only minutes. Their metal bodies melted, wires burned, lenses cracked. But they sent back the first real photos of Venus's ground, dark rocks, cracked soil, yellow sky. Hamza, the viewer, sees those images and realizes, this is not Earth's twin. This is Earth's warning. Medium white star, the reverse spin. A strange fact follows. Venus spins backward. It rotates opposite to all other planets. On Earth, the sun rises in the east. On Venus, the sun rises in the west. And it rotates so slowly that one Venus day is longer than one Venus year. This planet does not just break rules. It rewrites them. Medium white star, living hell. The part ends with a spacecraft hovering above Venus as lightning flashes inside its thick clouds. The narrator concludes, Venus hamine dikata haiku zindaji kabi kabiite palmine badal saktihai. Ega earth gandagi ogami keo control and akare. To kabi humbi Venus jase ban saktehane. The music rises. Next, the dangerous surface of Venus. As the spacecraft prepares to dive below the golden clouds, the narrator warns, Venus ke neche wo jahan hai. Jahan koi zinda shizak minitpi badash nahi ka sakti. The clouds slowly open like giant burning curtains, revealing a world that looks nothing like Earth. The sunlight reaching Venus's surface becomes thick, orange, and smoky. The entire planet glows like a giant furnace. Medium white star, the ground that burns. The spacecraft's camera shows a land made of cracked stone, melted rocks, and endless plains of dry lava. Dark mountains rise in the distance, mountains made of volcanic ash, not snow. The ground is so hot that it can melt lead. Every rock glows softly, like it holds fire inside. The narrator explains, Venus pa gami koi mausam nahi. Yer is junior ka asal cherahai. Medium white star lightning in the darkness. Suddenly, a flash tears through clouds. Lightning, massive, bright, and fast, strikes the surface. But instead of thunder, silence follows. There's almost no sound on Venus. Only pressure, only heat, only death. The narrator says, Ega ikinsanyan paho. To wo was be nai sunariga. Bastaba wa jalan mesus kariga. Medium white star, sky of sulfur. The sky above is yellow and thick, filled with poisonous gases. Sulfuric acid clouds hover overhead like toxic blankets. Anything that rises too high burns. Anything that falls too low melts. Even sunlight looks sick here, dim and weak, trapped inside the heavy clouds. Hamza, the imaginary viewer, now understands why scientists call Venus Earth's evil twin. Medium white star, the Venera warriors. The documentary shows a landing of Russia's Venera probes. Each probe entered the clouds like a brave soldier marching into a battlefield. Venera 7 survived 23 minutes. Venera 13 survived 127 minutes, the longest ever. But after a short time, every probe melted. The narrator says, Venus eni ha machine ko peladia. Lekin unya machines eni ha minus sire ka asal cheradikaya. The screen shows the real photos. Strange rocks, crushed land, glowing haze, and a sky that looks like fire behind smoke. Medium white star volcanoes that may still breathe. Scientists believe Venus still has active volcanoes. Some mountains glow faintly at night. Some surfaces get warmer unexpectedly. Something under Venus might still be moving, breathing, erupting. The narrator whispers, Venus Ike Zinda Jahannam High. Medium white star, the final hammer. The part ends with a haunting image. A lonely volcanic plain under the heavy orange sky. The narrator concludes, Agar Mercury Suraj Kukari Bre Kajela. To Venus apni hai hoye on mine jal ka tabahua. Ye wo sabak hai jo universe hamine chup ka kudita hai. The music rises sharply. Next, could life exist anywhere near these deadly worlds? After exploring Venus's burning surface, the spacecraft rises back into the thick clouds. The heat fades slightly, the pressure decreases, and the narrator reveals something unexpected. Jahan Zamin Paz and Dajike to Soapi Mumkin Nahi. Wahanae's man Maek Chupa Hua Raz Ho Saktahai. Medium white star life in the clouds of Venus. Scientists discover that while Venus's surface is hellish, its clouds, about 50 to 60 kilometers high, have much cooler temperatures. Up here, the environment is strange but not impossible. Temperatures near Earth-like, pressure close to Earth's atmosphere, thick clouds full of chemicals. The narrator explains, Kuch scientists ka kena haiku Venus ku upper clouds may microscopic life ho sakti hai, bohat choti, bohat purani, bohat different. In 2020, researchers found a chemical called phosphine in Venus's atmosphere. On Earth, phosphine usually comes from living bacteria or industrial activity. The camera zooms through the clouds, showing tiny glowing particles floating. Hamza, the viewer, tries to imagine life here, tiny organisms drifting like dust in golden air. The narrator says, Agar Venus pakois in dajahai, to wo insan wae jan wo nahi, wo hawo mine terti hu chotis in dajahai. Medium white star Mercury, life in shadows? Next, the documentary shifts back toward Mercury, the burnt, silent planet. No air, no rivers, no clouds. But something surprising hides in Mercury's darkest craters. Ice. The narrator says, Suraj Kusab sa Karib Sire Mindbi, Ponibaki Sarat Mind Paya Jadahai. These permanent shadow zones are colder than the moon's poles. Sunlight has never reached inside them, not even once in billions of years. Could microscopic life survive deep under Mercury's surface? Scientists say the chance is tiny, but not zero. Some believe that underground warmth, left over from Mercury's core, might keep small pockets warm enough for chemical reactions. But the narrator clarifies, Mercury ka environment itna sagt haikus indaji ka hona bohat mushkil, lekin universe kabi kabi sab ko hiran ka dita hai. Medium white star learning about Earth's future. Both planets teach something important about Earth. Venus shows what happens when greenhouse gases trap heat. Oceans vanish. Air becomes poison. Surface turns into fire. Mercury shows what happens when a planet loses its atmosphere. Heat burns. Cold freezes. Silence takes over. The narrator speaks softly. Venus or Mercury Zindaji Kugan Nahi. Zindaji Kusabakain. Medium white star, the hope of future exploration. NASA, ESA, and JAXA are sending new missions, Da Vinci, Veritas, and Bepi Colombo, to explore these ancient worlds deeper. Maybe one day we'll find microbes in Venus's clouds, a hidden chemistry on Mercury, or something unexpected that changes science forever. The journey now enters the most dangerous zone of the entire solar system, the space where sunlight becomes a weapon and darkness becomes a shield. As the spacecraft travels closer to the sun, everything becomes brighter, sharper, and more intense. The narrator begins, Yewo Rasta Hai Jahan Surfim Mat Kamati Hai. Kyun Kuyan Zarasa Galati, Jazz Ko Rock Banasakti Hai. Medium white star battling the sun's gravity. The spacecraft feels the sun pulling it with unimaginable strength. Every second, the sun's gravity tries to drag the ship straight into the burning surface. The narrator explains, Suraj K. Nizomak Jaoki Terahai. Johashi's Ko Apni Teraf Kinch Taretahai. To survive, the spacecraft must fire its thrusters again and again, turning, twisting, and fighting the invisible pull. Medium white star heat that makes metal cry. The temperature outside increases with every kilometer. Our solar panels glow red. Our metal frames expand. Our instruments scream for cooling. But advanced heat shields protect the ship. They are made of carbon layers so strong that they can survive 1,300 degrees Celsius. Hamza, the viewer, imagines a spacecraft sweating fire. The narrator says, Agaic insani Hathyan Dortak Paaj. To Woik Palmehawa Banjay. Medium white star solar wind storms. Suddenly, streams of charged particles blast from the sun. These are solar winds, traveling millions of kilometers per hour. They hit the spacecraft like invisible bullets. The screen shakes. Warning lights blink. Magnetic shields activate. The narrator explains, Solar wind Kisiandi K Nam Nahi. Yer Beasley K Tufan High. Joe planets Ko be Badal Kar Rock Dita High. On Earth, our magnetic field protects us. But here, the spacecraft is on its own. Medium white star Mercury and Venus, victims of the sun. The narrator now connects everything. Mercury Ka atmospheres Leah Jaya, Kyanku solar winds any use Chirfadia. Venus is Leah Jala, Kyanku Suraj any Uski A's man Ko Kade Kadia. The sun shapes everything near it. Burns Mercury, or traps Venus, controls orbits, creates storms, lights up the entire solar system. And now the spacecraft is close enough to see the sun's surface moving like boiling lava. Medium white star the Parker Solar Touch. The documentary shows NASA's Parker Solar Probe, the fastest object humans ever created. It has touched the sun's atmosphere, flying through the corona, something no mission ever dared. The narrator says, Insan Suraj Ko Chuchika High, or Yer Surf Shuruat High. Medium white star preparing for the final reveal. The spacecraft is now closer to the sun than anything humanity has ever imagined. The entire screen glows gold, orange, and white. Sunlight is no longer gentle. It is a living storm of fire. The narrator speaks in a slow, powerful voice. Insan ani and here Ko Jeetlia, Lekin Roshni Ka Yer Kila Ubi Psa and Ehuva. Medium white star the sun's outer atmosphere, the corona. The spacecraft enters a corona, the sun's outer atmosphere. Hey, temperatures reach 1 million degrees, hotter than the sun's own surface. The narrator explains, Yewo Garam Jagahai, Jahan Science Age be Sokme Gumho Jatahai. Magnetic lines twist like glowing ropes. Bright flames rise thousands of kilometers high. Solar flares blast into space like explosions. Hamza, the viewer, imagines the sun breathing, inhaling fire, exhaling storms. Medium white starlight that travels to every planet. A single ray of sunlight starts here, takes 8 minutes to reach Earth, and gives life to every tree, plant, ocean, and human. But this same light can destroy everything if it comes too close. The narrator connects Mercury and Venus. Mercury Ko Surajani Jaladia. Venus Ko Surajani Kade Kadia. O Earth Ko Surajani Zindaja Di. One star, 3 worlds, 3 destinies. Medium white star the solar code. Scientists believe that the sun holds answers to Earth's past and future. Why do planets form the way they do? Why does Earth stay balanced? How did life begin? What will happen when the sun dies? Every answer lies in this burning sphere. The narrator says, Suraj and Hota, Tokoi Kahani and Hoti. Medium white star Parker solar probe, humanity's touch. A brief montage shows a Parker solar probe flying through the corona, its heat shield glowing, instruments shaking, but never giving up. It becomes the first human-made object to touch the sun. The narrator whispers, Insanity ko Chulia, Mega Furpes Indaraha. Medium white star, the fate of the sun. Then comes a chilling truth. The sun will not burn forever. One day it will expand into a red giant, swallowing Mercury, Venus, and possibly Earth. The documentary shows a future sun, larger, redder, and angrier. Aikdin Yesap Katam Hojiega. Lekin Age Hamabibi Jeet Rohihain. Medium white star returning from the furnace. The spacecraft slowly turns away from the sun. Gold fades to black. Heat fades to silence. Stars reappear. The narrator concludes, Hamani Mercury Ka Sukun Deka. Venus Ka Jahannam Deka. Or Suraj Ka Asalchera Deka. A soft, emotional line ends a series. Universe Bohat Barahai. O Insan Bohat Kota. Lekin Uski Himmat. Uski Quabin Sazayada Kabi Choti Nai Hoti. The screen fades to black. The journey ends. But curiosity continues.